put that up too. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our regular public hearing workshop, Monday, June 10th, 2024. It is we're late, 6:03. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Will everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I'd like to have a motion to accept the minutes from May 13th and 28th, 2024.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye. We'll do this first.
Yep, that's the number one.
Okay, added at the dais tonight is an MOA for police. Will Mark please read it?
Yep. Resolution 610-1 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve a memorandum of agreement in connection with the collective bargaining agreement between the Town of Hyde Park Police Benevolent Association and the Town of Hyde Park.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye. Okay.
And the second row.
Oh, we want to do
Police officer. Yeah.
Justin. Okay, is that this
Me.
one right here?
Yep.
Okay.
Liz?
Liz?
Resolution 610-2 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to appoint part-time police officer Justin Filicello to the position of full-time police officer for the Town of Hyde Park Police Department.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye. Is the officer here? I can't recognize you when you're dressed like that. You need to run for my job. Come on up. Is the officer's family here? Bring them up with you. Poland guys.
Hi, is it Filicello? Filicello. All right, no problem. All right, ready? I, Justin Filicello,
Justin Filicello,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of full-time police officer
of full-time police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
You are so sworn. Yours.
How long have we been trying to get him in?
Thank you.
12 years, he's been part-time. He's my good friend.
Thank you.
Personal trainer that almost failed his test. He had a bad day. All right, get it to We're good, we got you. All right, Justin, we'll tell you, you're the bomb right now.
Thank you again, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you to the board.
No, we're gonna do public comments. Nobody has any,
Oh, so down there.
okay.
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 Better roach one.
You may want to say
We're gonna hold off on the training resolutions till after.
Yeah, we're gonna do the cannabis, and we're gonna do the common drive, and then we'll go back into the rest of the resolutions.
Great.
You know what I mean?
All right, do we have any public comments for the, regarding the special standards for retail cannabis permitting license?
Anybody wants to come up? John, come up and sit down and please use the microphone. Give your name and your address, please. You know it. I know I only got 3 minutes. Pull that microphone right next to you, John, and then
Okay.
you're all good to go.
Or you could rap like the other guys on the other.
Can't do that, I gotta pull it closer. Okay. Can you hear? Hello?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Okay. My name is John W. Green, and it doesn't stand for Johnny Walker Green. I live at Idlewild Drive in Poughkeepsie, New York, but it's Hyde Park, New York. That's the mailing address. First of all, I'd like to thank the board for postponing this until tonight, because you had a pretty big agenda last time, and you moved it to this time, so I think that was really nice. Introduce myself for the people that don't know me. I've been in the fire service for 45 years, a New York State fire instructor, OSHA instructor, building inspector, hazmat teacher, so I know a little bit. I put out a notice for, let the people know about the meeting tonight, and I call it a pot store. Holy moly, that was wrong, okay? Why didn't I call it a dispensary? Why didn't I call it a weed store? Why didn't I call it a cannabis shop? Well, for the people that don't know, pot comes from Mexican Spanish word patilla, which means marijuana leaves. Now, I know most of you don't know, but back in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, they used to call pot marijuana pot. They used to call it dope. Okay? I don't care what they call it. Okay? I'm not here to convince people to smoke, don't smoke, take it for medical purposes, don't take it for medical purposes. I'm here to talk about the project. I also reviewed your new code, the special standards. I really want to thank you for putting the section in there that you did for the police department. Excellent. I think there needs to be a little blurb in there about the fire department, only because of some of the hazardous materials, potential hazardous materials that can be stored there. They ought to have, they used to call them MSDS sheets, materials data safety sheets. They now call them safety material sheets. But the fire department ought to get notified what's on premise. I also went through the form, the request, and I think there's some things missing in that, but I don't want to use that in my 3 minutes. I'll wait for that.
Oh, your 3 minutes are up, but keep going.
Is it really?
3 minutes.
Jeez.
Keep going.
Thank you. The American Addiction Center, you can look at org. Marijuana is a different name. They call it a gateway drug, and everybody knows that. And I'll shorten what I'm going to say. It's the only substance guiding users down a dark and dangerous road. Dr. Springer said the results of smoking and all that stuff is bad and couldn't cause blood vessel problems, and I'm not going to go through that because I'm going to get to the point. The point is, in that place, the neighborhood, your neighborhood business district, in that particular place, you have Planet, I got to be careful, Planet Fitness.
Fatness.
I know, I didn't want to say that. Planet Fitness, they found a new place. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, they moved.
And they want a bigger place. God bless them. And if each one of you had a lot of money in your pocket, a lot of money, and you put the cannabis or the pot store or whatever you want to call it, are you going to invest money in an empty store after Planet Fitness goes out? Okay? And it's next to a pot store? It's going to lessen the chance of somebody coming in that store, I think. Governor Hochul, as you know or may not know, after 3 years of operations of giving out licenses, they have 80 statewide, but after 3 years, they've called it she has called it a disaster. And now they have gotten the groups back together to try to figure out, they're currently looking for guidance. Now, that's the state. After 3 years, don't have their act together. The new FDA findings. The new FDA findings, basically, MDMA, a therapy for PTSD, is rejected by the FDA. The FDA now is looking at this stuff, saying what it was described and what it was talked about isn't what it's really doing. For some people, yeah, but the scientific part of what the FDA has looked at, it's not working. So you got Hookah that don't know what she's doing. By the way, I'm a Democrat. I've been in your position. I've been in the board. By the way, you people don't know it. Yes, I had to run a Democratic primary to win the seat, but the Republicans also gave me their seat too. So when I ran, I had both, Democrat and Republican. How many people do you know? Why? Because I did the right thing. I didn't care about A and B, I cared about the people. As you know, it is a gateway drug. The other thing is, this is situated, and you can look up the definition. I did all my homework between two schools. By the way, no sidewalks. So anybody that's going to walk to this place, walking with no sidewalks. I can also tell you that's a dangerous place. If anybody's been down to Planet Fitness and tried to pull out, I went down the River Point Road and talked to a couple people. Unfortunately, what some of the people wanted down there, which would never happen, they want a red light. It ain't gonna happen. But think of somebody coming out of there a little bit dizzy. School bus drivers I talk to, when they run a school bus down there, they stop and pick up the kids, but the northbound traffic don't stop. I mean, you know the speeds that they go through there. And God forbid if they put up a sign, cannabis shop. Welcome to Hyde Park, H-I-G-H. Oh, that would be terrible. The other big thing to think about, and unfortunately they left, I have a cousin that's a state trooper, I've talked to a lot of cops. If you smell marijuana coming out of a car, basically there's nothing you can do. What I'm saying in essence, and I'll wrap it up, it's not the right time, it's not the right place at this time. And the reason for that, and I hope you all didn't make up your minds, and the reason for that is Hoople don't have his stuff, she don't have her stuff together. How do we know that this 3-year, right, it's 3 years, when you sign an agreement, how do we know that that stuff's not right? How do we know we shouldn't add something, subtract something? Okay? And all the FDA findings now. There's 5 areas in that map, if you check them all out, 5 big areas, where if this is accepted, they can come in and go anyplace. Please think about what you're doing. The reason I put it out to have people come here, and I got called names and everything else, is I used to tell my students in class, you don't know what you don't know. And I wanted people to know. I'm not here to say smoke and not smoke. All I'm here to say is that's not the place. Thank you an awful lot for the extra time. I really appreciate it. And anytime you want to know where I got the information from, I'll be more than happy to supply it to you.
Thank you, John.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, John. I do want to say, I'm the attorney for the town, and John, thank you for that, and many of those comments were focused on the draft local law that's the subject of tonight's public hearing. A couple of things that may be useful for the public as more people come up and comment, or as people are watching this meeting on TV. Much of what is being pursued by this law, as many of you know, is already on the state books, and I think there are many people that believe that know that this is still an evolving area of law, and that the state will continue to look at all these things as many towns around the state deal with their zoning provision. If those changes were to come down the pike, the state law would change, and it may be that any town that has these establishments in it will have to make amendments to their local code. But these things are legal, and they cannot legally be zoned out of a town. And so the question is, how do we regulate it the best we can in the best interest of the people in terms of what the state has put down now? And the other thing I just want to mention is that it does seem to me like some of those comments were directed at maybe a particular application that's currently pending. That process is also an independent public process going on before the planning board. And for that particular application, members of the public should feel free to participate in that. Tonight's public hearing, though, we're looking for comments on the draft of this local law, since it will affect potentially, well, not potentially, it will affect any cannabis establishment that may want to come into town. So I hope that, and this map, by the way, I also want to mention, indicates all the NBD districts, which is where our law proposes, our draft law proposes these establishments could go, and shows certain types of uses which within the state code and the town code would be required to be a certain distance away from certain kinds of uses, like churches and schools and things like that. So that we'll answer your questions, I'm sure, but I just want to orient the public on this. Those distances are just meant to be illustrative because, as I said, you're not allowed to zone these things completely out of your town. So we wanted to be able to show that if we focus these in the MBD district, within the distance limitations that are suggested by our proposed local law and the state legislation, then there will be places that these can go. And the last thing I'll say is each separate application as it comes in, when this local law, however it ends up being fixed, being put in place, when this is in effect, every new local establishment that wants to pursue one of these things will also have to go through its own independent review, meet criteria, meet state criteria. So I just thought that would be useful for the benefit of the public to know where we are, where some of this stuff comes from, and to help orient your comments. So thank you, John.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you.
Thank you for your comment, and remember you're by schools, put it over on Salt Point. No, thanks an awful lot for everybody.
Thank you, John.
Go ahead, so let's read, we want to read that out?
We have to open the public hearing, right? Motion second?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we should
Can
do
I have a
that.
motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Okay,
Then I'm going to read the,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
gotcha. Notice of public hearing, Town Board of the Town of Hyde Park. Please take notice that the Town Board of the Town of Hyde Park shall hold a public hearing on Monday, June 10th, 2024, at 6:05 PM at Hyde Park Town Hall, 4383 Albany Post Road, Hyde Park, New York, on the proposed adoption of the local law number C of 2024 entitled, "A Local Law Amending 108-8.6 of the Town of Hyde Park Code by adding a new 108-86 entitled Special Standards for Retail Cannabis Special Permit." The local law provides well-ordered regulations for the operation and location of cannabis establishments in the town of Hyde Park. Any persons desiring to be heard on the said local law shall be provided with an opportunity to do so at the public hearing. A copy of the proposed local law is on file at the office of the town clerk during regular business hours. By order of the town board, dated May 14th, 2024, Hyde Park, New York, Sarah Holman, town clerk. Now we can go ahead with the...
Yeah, that's if anybody else here.
Is there anybody else here that has any comments regarding this? Hit the button when they come up.
Not
After they state the
necessarily
name.
on this, but 2 years ago, I told you my story.
Can you
Come up
please
and-
come up
yeah.
and state your name, address, and all that, please? Thank you.
I'm giving you a 2-year update on how I'm doing.
Name, address.
Jennifer Kaler, Yapel, Roosevelt Road.
Okay.
Pete's
Thank you.
Famous is not for sale, is it? It is now out of the district, isn't it? For
This has to do
cannabis
with the
shop.
public hearing regarding the
I'm just
cannabis.
asking a quick question while I'm sitting here before I start my rant.
Pete's Famous? I have no idea what's going on with Pete's Famous.
It's not for sale because they don't want a restaurant going in there.
Exactly.
This board knows exactly
Okay,
why.
no, I know that because I was trying to buy it.
Okay, go ahead.
Public hearing.
So, it's not for sale. Okay, fine. That shot the dream that I had of putting in my cannabis shop at 4200, nice address, right? 420 with an extra zero. Who wouldn't want that address for a pot shop? Then in the back, I mean, come on, seriously. Now, in the back, my profits would have been used to build a building on the Van Dam site. That building would have allowed me to bring home a piece of history. 1955 American LaFrance ladder truck. I wanted to bring it home. My profits from the store would have paid for it to build it. Right in front of the preserve, extending the preserve with a couple of benches, make it nice and pretty. But it's not for sale. Then it flooded. They're in no hurry to fix the flooding. Okay, so I dropped that. It's been 6 years since I lost my pain management. I have gotten worse. So much so that I'm heading for a wheelchair 15 years sooner than I should be. I stopped walking. Sitting on my ass smoking pot's backfired. Since November, I have been looking for representation to file a class action lawsuit against New York State Department of Health and former Governor Cuomo for taking all chronic pain patients off of narcotics in 2018. After 14 years, I had to detox in 3 months. I said this the last time. I have gone to Albany and protested February 15th, checked the security cameras. I came with a bunch more posters up there, and a Karen told the grounds crew that my posters were offensive because I said genocide and suicide. I have lost more mom friends who are chronic pain patients than I have known addicts to overdose. The Democrats opened the door and said, open season on politicians. I'm going to walk through that door and I am taking down Albany for pain and suffering for 6 years. But I can't find representation. Nobody's got the balls to help me, to help us. Now, I'm not a greedy bitch. I only want 150 million. 1 million for me. And the rest of it, I'm going to start building firehouses and donating them. First will be Fairview. That is my home firehouse. That is the firehouse I should be a member of, but I'm not. So I'm going to leave a family legacy with that money. And then I'm building Roosevelt 1. And then I will go from there. Every house in this county will have a new house. If I can afford it, I will build it. I know this is a lot, and you don't understand where I'm coming from.
No, we do.
But I am angry, and I am tired of being nice. I have spinal muscular atrophy on top of everything else. My spinal cord is electrocuting. My muscles, they're dying. I stopped walking. They started shrinking. Then the SMA took over. Don't go changing the rules on the pot shops. We need one here, okay? I know you all know this. Fuck, I forgot where I was.
Don't lose it. We're good, and we understand, and we feel your pain, and that's why we're doing what we're doing here. It will benefit a lot of people. And thank you very much.
Thank you for letting me speak.
Anyone else has any comments about the cannabis law?
Hello. Is this on?
State your name,
All right.
address.
My name is Cliff Perkins. You also know me in the records as Yelling Crow. All right? I'm here to tell you a story about a little town in Colorado that took recreational. This is over an 8-year period. This one shop in this little town, we're talking about a mile square, was next to Greeley and Fort Collins, 2 major college towns. Nobody else wanted to deal with the recreational. Garden City took it. Over an 8-year period, the improvements in that town, because of the extra tax base, were astronomical. This is over an 8-year period. when I was getting ready to leave, they were discussing using part of that town towards some of the town's property taxpayers. That's how important this gets financially. Now, it's stuck right next to two major college territories. And that little spot down there will be a gold mine. The conversation that I'm looking forward to is how that tax base is going to be distributed. Here's another nice little caveat. The police, DWIs and traffic infractions, they're to the floor. What's a pothead want to do? He wants to get his stuff, go home, put the lubes on, get the gang together, tell funny jokes, and hit the munchies. You've got a whole bunch of people that are not dangerous. I'm an old beat-up vet. I have Crohn's, disability, and if it wasn't for this, I'd likely be laying in a hospital again today. For me, health-wise, and for all my buddies that have suffered with this, and I got a lot of them, we are grateful when this comes into town. We have been recognized. And my one brother, as a U.S. Navy, Marine, U.S. Navy, in the medical corps, they actually are issuing their medical staff in the Navy cards so that they could get out and get themselves treated properly. We're not seeing a downside unless somebody wants to create it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Kathy Reganetti, 24 Van Dam Road, Hyde Park, New York. I was here when you set up this meeting, I believe it was last month, and I'm looking around for the woman who was here last time. Her major concern was traffic. And I wonder, in the 5 weeks since then, has anybody on the board done anything with the potential traffic problems?
There's a traffic study going on through their
And when are you
filings.
putting
Yes,
in the
there
pot
is.
store?
Excuse me?
When are you putting in the store?
The store is going through the traffic study right now.
So the traffic study will be accomplished before the store opens?
It has to be, yes.
That would be nice to
Yeah,
hear.
it's part of the review process of that
Yes.
particular application.
And that will be made public how?
Yes, through the planning board.
Through the planning board?
Yes,
So people should be watching the planning board meeting if they want to see how the traffic flow is?
correct.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And they have traffic experts doing the study.
New York State
DOT
traffic
experts.
experts. Yep. And the other issue, I'm sure, is, and I think it's wonderful that you are looking at the medical approach, and I'm sure I empathize with the persons that need this as part of their medical pain management. However, I would also hope beyond traffic and issues that will come forward for that, that you also have additional police protections, because it's a lot easier to tell when somebody is drunk than it is to tell somebody is high and driving. So what is the potentiality for increasing the police force, and what are the costs associated with that?
We've increased the police force. Chief, would you like to comment on something like that? Or would you like to stay out of it?
Oh,
It's up to
come
you.
on in.
Do you feel comfortable?
I never feel comfortable with any kind of drug, but. All right, so to answer your question as far as understanding impairment of somebody under the influence of marijuana or any type of drug, all of our officers are certified in standardized field sobriety tests. So you have to make a determination from factors including maybe an auto accident, behavior, things of that nature, before you conduct standardized field sobriety tests. So at that point, we would conduct the same test as you would for any alcohol, any substance that could impair driving. And then if it is made a determination that there's no alcohol involved, that it may be a drug involved, then we don't have drug recognition experts, but we would take that person to a local hospital and draw blood and have the blood sample analyzed for some type of drug.
Can they
So-
refuse that treatment?
of course, anyone can refuse even alcohol, even if we smell alcohol, we get all kinds of indicators, but there's a process through the court system for people who refuse to take these tests or take any type of blood test, urine test, or breathalyzer exam for us to be able to still charge them, and then there's a process that goes through. So the standardized field sobriety tests are exactly that. They're standardized tests that anyone under the influence of whether it's alcohol or drugs will fail those tests in certain standards and certain cues we'll see during those tests. So all of our officers are certified in that. We don't have many drug recognition experts in the entire county because that training is about a 8-week training that goes on. It's very expensive, and the problem is you need to have people to be able to test. So most of the time they test them at intake for probation, intake for jail. They'll take them there for people that are coming in usually under the influence. But we are certified in standardized field sobriety tests like we are for alcohol or cocaine or any other type of drug. And if they fail those tests, then we proceed accordingly.
And do you anticipate in the future, even though it is expensive, that you will send somebody from your local force or even maybe the state trooper in to be recognized and take that 8-week course?
Yeah, so we're always looking for these courses as they arrive. And in the final end of it, the town board has a decision on where they spend the money for funding for training. But if we feel that the training is going to be offered somewhere local that we can send, then, you know, we're always into training. So it's something that's going to move forward. You know, I have my own personal opinions about marijuana. You know, I taught DARE for 6 years. I spent a lot of time in the community. I spent a lot of time with the kids. I spent a lot of time with
You were in the schools,
people.
right?
Yes, ma'am. I spent a lot of time with people that use drugs, but the law's here, right? Just like the law's here for alcohol, the law's here for a lot of other things. I will say the
Failing people
regulations.
miserably, but okay.
Well, yeah, and again, people abuse everything, right? So we have people that abuse prescription medication. You know, you have people that abuse alcohol, you have people that abuse marijuana. But I will say, from the research that I've done with cannabis stores, is that they're under such high regulations. And if you read the law, you know, I will have access as police chief to cameras that they have on the premises.
Okay.
And the cameras that they use are so incredible, I'll be able to read the insignia on the town supervisor's shirt. So I will be on top of it, and I will be there, and I will be making sure all the regulations are in order. If the town decides that's where they go, that's what I have to do, right? I don't write the laws, you know, I have to enforce them, right? So if it's here.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
Narcan only affects heroin, opioid drugs.
Yes.
Is there anything comparable for marijuana?
Not that I'm aware of, but, you know, usually people aren't overdosing on marijuana, so that's why they have Narcan, to be able to reverse the effects of an opiate. But we don't generally see people overdosing on marijuana. And, you know, it's just like a liquor store, right? So people go to a liquor store, they purchase liquor, they don't usually drink it in the parking lot. So they're generally are not smoking marijuana in the parking lot.
Mr. Dragonet,
Right.
remember
Well,
something,
well-
too. These people are investing millions of dollars. If somebody's smoking in their parking lot after they purchase it, they lose their license, and they get shut down automatically. So it's not something they're going to be able to buy and just go outside and deal with it. They can't. It's illegal.
I anticipate.
And that's a big investment that they're jeopardizing.
I am
so.
under no misgivings that this store is coming and will be in here.
It's coming.
Not a problem. But I am also under no misgivings that you are looking at it empathetically, but more so financially. And
Not just
I will take
financially,
that
no.
opinion with me. You can
That's your
think whatever you
opinion. Yes, it
want.
is.
You got it, my humble.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Thanks, Chief. Does anybody else have anything to say about marijuana stores?
Just a quick one.
Careful.
Thank you to the board for all your time and effort in the local.
Don't worry, you didn't get the bill yet.
Getting there.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Frank Barone. I live on Salt Point Turnpike, 12 Amber Court. It's town of Hyde Park Schools.
Thank you.
Just to let everybody know, I represent my family, the Barones, and we are the one with the proposed location next to Planet Fitness that are working with the town and the state and everybody to get this law passed so we can continue with our business. We've been in Hyde Park our whole lives. We wanted nothing more than to do it in Hyde Park and provide education and safe, legal, tested product to everybody in the area for adults 21 and older. And that's what we're here to do. So we want to remove any stigma, and if anybody ever has questions for us, we are an open book, and we're here to help educate everybody on this entire process. And once again, appreciate the town for their work on this, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barone. Okay, last call for, I can't say that. Anyone else has any comments? Okay, where do we go from here?
Closing the public hearing.
Okay, so I need a motion to close the public hearing.
We got the,
So moved.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
All right, will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Pron.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye.
Mr. Supervisor, can I add a couple things to the record, again, for the benefit of the public? I do want to note that we did get comments from from Dutchess County, which is a mandatory referral when you add to your zoning law. They considered it a matter of local concern. They had initial comments to our first draft, which were incorporated, but at this point, they're comfortable with this law. We got comments from our referral to the planning board. Those comments have been incorporated in a revision, which I circulated today. They are not substantive changes. They are suggestions for clarity in the procedure and things of those sorts. So I don't think it changes the sum and substance of what you'd like to adopt. But having closed the public hearing tonight, gotten a couple of comments, it may be prudent to put this off one more time, give us a chance to completely digest every revision and put it on for consideration of adoption at a future meeting, whether it's the next regular meeting or a special meeting. Just gives us a chance to think through any comment that we heard tonight and make sure that the board agrees with me that any changes that were made are just sort of textual and procedural and not substantive. If that
I don't
is
think there's
acceptable to the
substance.
board.
Do you think we should close this, or?
Oh, you can close, you already closed the hearing.
Yeah.
I'm talking about whether you vote on it tonight. And I'm not saying you can't, I think you probably can.
I think we should.
I got one other email that came in, just for the record. I know the public comments closed, but one of my constituents, her name is Heidi Lettery on Roosevelt Road. She just sent me an email that she can't be here tonight for the cannabis special permit, but she does not want a pot store in town. I vote no. That's the the two-line sentence that I got, so just put that in the record, that I received that and let the public know.
All right. I say we vote on it with the changes, recommendations from the planning board taken into consideration, and we move forward with this.
I'd like to go into executive session for a minute. Can I get somebody to second me to go into executive session
I'll
and have a
second.
discussion?
I'll second.
Want to take a roll call or not? Good?
Is there a reason for
Executive session.
And a second.
I'll do that, Don.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to come out of executive session, please.
I
May I have a
second
motion?
it. You making a motion?
I'll make the motion, and who's second?
I'll second.
Okay. Do we have to do a roll call vote on that?
For executive session?
No, no,
Okay, good.
not for executive session.
All right, so we already closed the public hearing, so we're going to the workshop.
No, I can't remember. Did you make the motion to?
Didn't I make the motion to
Oh.
close the vote?
No, we're gonna make,
You already closed the public hearing.
yeah, now we're
Okay.
gonna make a motion to vote on the
Adopt.
cannabis with the
Adopt.
modifications.
All right, may I have a motion to adopt the cannabis law? I don't see that here.
We're taking in consideration of the comments that are outstanding from the planning board.
Yes. That's the motion, yes.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Oh, will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prime.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye. Motion carried. Jeez.
The next workshop is the common drive.
Do we have the workshop next?
Yep, Connolly Drive. So the next thing on the agenda is the workshop for Connolly Drive. Is there
Is Patricia
representation? You
here?
can come on up. Please state your name and address, please.
Yes, my name is
It's
Doris.
got to be
Cron-
Conley Drive, right?
You bet. My name's Doris Crone Harrington. I live at 3 Connolly, which would be the north corner property. So the reason that we're here, and I apologize, I was just given short notice. As you know, this intersection is one that is unique.
Mic a little closer?
I'm sorry. So the intersection
Sure,
is a
pull right
bit
to it.
unique in that it is the intersection of a state highway, a county road, and a town road. And it's also unique in that such an intersection can no longer be built in the state of New York. It is no longer legal for that type of an intersection with a residential cul-de-sac to be built. I've lived there since 1990 and have seen numerous accidents, both minor and major. And this is not the first time we have gone to this town board for some relief from the situation.
This town board?
No, the town board.
Okay.
Okay. By the way, our road is named after a former town supervisor. Yeah,
Can I have one of those?
maybe. So,
Nobody can spell
the
it.
problem we
That's not
have,
gonna be this
okay,
long.
so over the years, we've appealed to different entities within the town, county, and state. A pole on the south corner was moved, and that improved visibility. We went from having an accident literally every other week. Yeah, at one point, about 10 years ago, we had one every other week at the intersection. We asked for a traffic study back then. Nothing was done. In the 30-something years I've lived there, I go to pull out. When we used to have big snowstorms, the state would pile the snow and you couldn't see anything. My husband and I gave, it's either an easement or a right-of-way to this town to keep the vision clear going north. You're entitled to come on our property. They tend to mow the grass that is not in the line of sight, because, I mean, we've gone through several town highway superintendents, but the line of sight north is not good. The speed limit is 55. As you get about a half a mile north of the high school, the speed limit jumps to 55, which really, and I guess the town cops can tell you this, means people think they can do 60 to 65, you know? So the speed limit is high for the amount of traffic. All the time I've been there, I have had numerous near misses, either coming out of Connolly and people trying to pass as somebody's making a turn and they're going north, and you're sitting there at that stop line, and you're like, oh yeah, they're gonna hit me. We've had numerous residents be hit. One of the common ways is you're traveling southbound, you signal to make a left onto Connolly, and you get T-boned because the person behind you is not paying attention, so they go to pass you. We've had a couple of residents hit that way. I had a near miss that way. But we have asked for, what we're asking for is the town, can you work with the state? And I know it's also unique in that it's 2 wards. It's the 1st ward and the 4th ward. Because on one side of the road, it's 1st and we're in the 4th.
I've actually done a little research, and I came down Hollow Road, and I went south. And approximately 9/10 of a mile after you get out of there, before Connolly and North Cross, and there is a yellow and black
recommended 45 mile an hour.
Reduction down to 45 mile an hour,
That's
yes.
a recommended.
Right.
And even people that follow that, a friend of mine had a miss between the last 2 major accidents. Coming from Kingston, driving 45, and somebody blew the stop sign at North Cross. The stop sign going from North Cross to Route 9 has a warning sign, a large warning sign, stop ahead, and a large stop sign. There is nothing when you're going towards 9G other than the stop sign that you finally see when you get there. So there's a few things that we would like to ask about. Actually lowering the speed limit to 45. Instead of, as you're coming north, seeing that 55, can we get that down to 45 and maybe keep that going 45 up to Hollow, which has its own issues? A warning sign on North Cross Road saying that you're coming to a full stop. I don't know, maybe put lights around the stop sign like there are down in, what is that?
On Fulton Street,
Fulton Street.
LED lights.
Yeah, LED lights. Or what you have out on the intersection of Center Road and Hollow Road, you have that large blinking red on Hollow, yellow on Center. Is there a possibility of that? You know, those are, I think, reasonable requests. This has been going on the entire time I've lived there. You know, you go out and you're like, you see the debris from a minor fender bender and you're like, yep, another one happened. But the last 2 were pretty major. And we've had some major ones over the years. And I know Mrs. Homan, who could not be here tonight, Patty Homan, had been in contact with Chief Benson about accidents over the past 5 years. And I would caveat that with one thing. Nationwide police statistics show that between 2020 and 2022, there was a significant drop in accidents due to COVID-19. Remember, we all got discounts on our car insurance because no one was driving. So those 2 years are kind of outliers, 2020 and 2022. So if you look at 2023 forward and you look at 2019 backward, and you can see the statistics on our road aren't wonderful. And as I said, we had an attorney who did some background work and asked the previous town board. He said his words were actually, this cries out for a traffic study. And I don't think we've ever had one done.
Did Ms. Holman send us that traffic study report that you're
I'm not
speaking
sure
about?
what she sent to you.
Yeah, we got it. We got the
you did.
accident, we got the
Yeah.
accident report.
You did
yeah.
get all
Yeah,
those.
we got it.
Okay.
Wasn't there like deer stuff? and all that?
Yeah.
But, you know, so we're asking the town, you know, to go to bat for us, please, with the county and the state, and try to get them moving, because I know you only have Connolly. I think the state is the one that has to come in for 9G.
Yeah. You're correct.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, yes. Yes, we originally looked into it because when Anderson put their group home on our road, we weren't concerned about the group home. We were concerned about the number of employee cars That would be more than, the typical 2, maybe 3 for a home, for a regular residence. And that's why we had it looked at. Now, you've got a rather large apartment complex going in on North Cross Road, which will again increase traffic at both ends. And that is a concern. So, just to wrap, the suggestions, the lowering of the speed limit, maybe an electronic blinking light, yellow and red, and put a warning sign, and actually that would be the county. Because you guys, you have a nice stop sign on our road, and you have a stop line.
The road's coming out, yes.
Yeah.
All right,
And
we will
Mrs. Holman
take
and
that
I
into
are- we're-
consideration, without a doubt. We'll look at it.
Yeah, Patty and I are going to meet with with Howie to look at the actual visibility and what can be done. Now, Central Hudson had their crew out, and they did remove some of the overhanging brush and trees.
Yes.
I still think we can clear up a little more, maybe. Or get on the state's case to keep it mowed.
So what we've done so far, Patty Holman reached out to me, and of course, it's Don's ward and
Don
Mark's
and
ward.
Mark, yeah.
Yeah, they're working with them, but we did send an email. The first thing that we found out through Pete Sotero, after these last couple accidents, we asked him to go
Yeah.
up and take a look at
Oh,
it.
yeah.
And Pete's basic email to the DOT was, hey, I think that just north of the South Cross Road intersection, traffic light in South Cross Road, where it starts the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit, I think it would be appropriate to take that speed limit and move it down past Hollow Road,
Yeah.
and that's a clear span with no problems. Put the 55-mile-an-hour sign
Up
there,
there, yes.
which would kind of make sense. Another thing that they recommended, Pete's letter recommended to the DOT, and he sent it to Bob Belkheim from Dutchess County regarding North Cross Road, that we would put a enlarged stop sign in prior, or stop ahead sign coming up, and then put a sign at North Cross that was a little larger that said,
Yeah.
stop.
That would be great.
Also, what we have been doing, as you probably noticed,
You mowed.
prior to the last storm, parade, we got a couple phone calls, and Sean Riley, with the gentleman in the back of the room, does the mowing for the Hyde Park Highway. He's been up there numerous times,
Yeah.
cuts it back, and tries to increase the site visibility as best we
Yes.
can.
Yes,
So,
and the day after that, the state came through.
yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
listen, we get a
But-
complaint, and the
and
town
you
was
guys
good enough
did
to
it.
go up, and
No,
we're
that was
trying to
great. We
address it.
noticed. We did notice.
Other situations that we have is, Patty was looking to put some type of traffic light there, or traffic device, which,
Right.
listen, that's not gonna happen.
No.
I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be an
Yeah.
act of Congress to get that taken through, but the DOT has our letter.
Good.
It's under review. The county has our letter. It's under review. So
Mm-hmm.
these guys, Mark and Don, are working on it with Pete Sotero.
The first letter I exchanged with Pete Sotero was in 1991
Yeah,
about
yeah.
this
Don't worry,
intersection.
we got a hammer.
Yeah, we're.
Yeah, no,
we're-
that was when we did the
Yeah.
right-of-way for the town to come on the property if they need to
Yeah.
clear anything.
So we did get listen, we did get the traffic study, the traffic accident reports from the chief.
Good.
He was the first one to send them over.
Yep.
Pete looked at them. Another thing is, it's a little, not only just, it's a complicated intersection, but another
It
important
is.
thing is that, as we know, the younger generation, the Texan, the this, the that, there's a lot of drivers that aren't paying attention to what's on the road
Oh, I know.
and what's coming up. So,
yeah.
a little education would go a long way in a lot of these accidents, because a lot of them were human error.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, yes.
it's just
Yep.
not, it's just not that the DOT always goes by statistics. And with this letter that Pete sent to the county and the DOT, we're hoping that we should get a response back fairly soon.
Yeah, I think those two things, the reduction to 45, I think would help a lot.
Yep.
And I think also, the modification of the stop sign and the warning stop sign
Yeah.
would be.
Well, Don and Mark are going to be pushing for it, but just keep in mind, that Route 9G is a DOT road, so
I
the
know.
state dictates what we can
What we
do.
can do.
The only thing we could do is send letters of recommendation,
Right.
you know, because what you're saying is absolutely true, and hope
Yeah.
they listen to us.
Yeah. Well, the stop sign, though, that's a county issue.
No, that's the county, that's Bob Balkheim, so
Yep,
we
so-
sent
so you
the
can
letter
do that
to,
one, yeah.
well, we sent the letter,
Letter.
the same letter, in fact, we can get you a copy of it, or we
Okay,
can ship it to
that'd be
Patty. The same letter with the reduced speed limit on 9G and the stop signs went to both, so that they can
Good.
picture everything together and put the whole thing, what we're trying to
I mean,
accomplish
yeah.
there.
And that would be reasonable to at least start with those
Yeah.
and see what happens. I mean,
Okay.
you know.
No, we are.
Yeah, so
That's
that's,
great.
Patty's made it very clear what we have to do.
so that's the path, and Mark and Don will report back to you. We can get you a copy of the letter that Pete Sotero sent to both of them. It
Okay.
did go out about 2 weeks ago,
Okay.
and that's about the best we can do at this point.
I don't
That'd be
see
great.
why that would be that much of a problem. Like I said, the suggested reduction just before North Cross.
Yeah.
You know, to change that from a black and, to a black and white where it's an actual
Where it's an
state
actual
mandated.
speed, an actual enforceable speed limit.
Right, because then you have another reduction at, by the Falk Hill.
Right,
The
that's where
Falk Hill
it drops,
School, right.
that's where it drops to 45-ish,
Yes.
around by the
Yep.
school, and then
And-
you drop to 40, then
Then
you
it's South
cross
Cross,
East Park,
that's
yeah.
the state mandate is a 45. And then you have the crossing sign by the elementary school. Where
Yep.
it shows that it's a crossing sign for the kids, deer sign.
Yep.
And then as you get further down, I pass 1, 2, 3, 4 state mandate 45-mile-an-hour speed reductions.
Yep.
And then, of course, when you get to Mill Road, before you get to the East Park traffic
Yep.
light going south,
You
now
drop
that's a
to
state mandate down to 40.
Yep, that's a 40,
So-
and then as you continue further down 9G, it
Yep.
continues to drop, and then you get down, all
So
the way
I
down by
think-
Violet, it's 35.
I think we're all on the same page. If we
Yeah.
could get that one cautionary 45 with the curve up ahead, move that to
Yeah.
a state mandate, and maybe put that stop sign. And I want to go to the west end of North Cross and see the signs that are set up there going to
Yep.
Route 9. But I think that's not an unreasonable request. Hopefully, we'll
Yeah.
hear something back from that.
Yeah.
And I think what
that'd be-
John said,
I
if we
mean,
could make that 55 up past Hollow Road,
Past
where it's
Hollow.
straightaway.
that
Yeah,
would
because
be-
believe it or not,
Hollow
I
has
know-
some issues,
Oh,
too.
Hollow definitely has some issues, too, and when
Yeah.
people pull out of there to go across the Mills Cross, that is,
Yeah.
the accidents that happen there, when they happen, they're not...
They're pretty bad also, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Well, the state, over the past 30 years, initially when Connolly went in, that was a passing zone where we are.
Yeah.
And they did get rid of that and put the double yellow in.
Yeah.
But I think, again, reducing that speed limit, I think will make a difference.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's a
But-
great idea. Hopefully, we'll get a positive response from DOT.
Well, I thank you all for your help.
Everything's in for you.
Everything's in. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank
We
you.
really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming out and explaining it to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything to say on Connolly Drive? Okay.
Oh, support?
Okay.
Okay, pick up on resolution 3. Is that where we're at?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Resolution 610-3 of 2024, resolution authorizing the town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve Sergeant Michael Stallone, Officer Mark Passantino, and Officer Jordan Feen to attend a 3-day New York State Division Criminal Justice Services course in criminal debriefing July 1st through July 3rd, 2024, in Dutchess County, New York. Location to be determined.
May I have a second, please?
Second?
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Giorgiani.
Aye. Motion carried.
Resolution 610-4 of 2024, resolution authorizing the town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve Christian McGaw and Officer Stephen Riley to attend a 3-day New York State Division of Criminal Justice Service course in criminal debriefing on August 13th through the 15th, 2024, in Orange County, New York. Location to be announced.
May I have a second, please?
Second?
Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Giorgiani.
Aye. Motion carried.
Resolution 610-5 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve Detective Christian McGaw and Officer Stephen Riley to attend the 6-day Child Passenger Safety Technician Certification course at the Milan Volunteer Fire Department in Red Hook, New York.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski. And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye, motion carried.
Resolution 610-6 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve the purchase of a replacement vehicle and any necessary equipment for said vehicle for the Town of Hyde Park Police Department fleet.
All right, may I have a second, please?
Second.
All right, will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye, motion carried.
Resolution 610-7 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve the purchase of new office furniture for the Hyde Park Police Department.
May I have a second?
Second.
All right, will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye, motion carried.
Resolution 610-8 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve the Town of Hyde Park Tax Receiver Cindy Todd and Deputy Tax Receiver Joyce Pina to attend the Dutchess County Department of Finance Education Session on Monday, July 15th, 2024, in Millbrook, New York.
All right, may I have a second, please?
Second.
All right, will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye, motion carried.
Resolution 610-9 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to introduce a proposed local law amending Section 45-3 and 45-5 of the Town Code regarding dogs and setting a public hearing.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
All right, will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye, motion carried.
Resolution 610-10 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Clerk to issue a hawking and peddling license to Vanessa Espinosa of Van Rys LLC.
All right, may I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay, will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye, motion carried.
Resolution 610-11 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to waive the restrictions of consumption of alcohol beverages on public property in the Town of Hyde Park according to Chapter 35 of the Town Code to allow for alcoholic beverages to be consumed at the Town of Hyde Park Library event to be held on February 21st, 2024. Here we go with Lynn again.
You have a license to do that? I mean, may I have a second, please?
Second.
All right, will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye. Okay. Motion carried.
Resolution 610-12, 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to amend the agreement with Richard Wombat for webmaster services and to add an addendum to the current agreement to cover the redesign of the town's website.
May I have a second, please?
Second?
Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye. Motion carried.
Resolution 610-13 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor to execute an agreement for the continuation of grant consultant services with Millennium Strategies LLC for assistance in researching and applying for 2024 potential grant funding for the Town of Hyde Park.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye, motion carried.
I'd just like to say something before we jump on to the next resolution. I'd like to thank the supervisor and the town board for passing this resolution. Ever since this administration came in, when we put the Millennium Strategies on as our grant writer, they obtained a ton of great grants for us, and for $3,000 a month, in 12 months, we spent $36,000 with them, and I think to date?
300,000.
Over $300,000 worth of grants to the town of Hyde Park, so that's a substantial
amount.
investment, and I thank the supervisor and the town board for renewing their contract. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. All right, who's next?
Liz?
Resolution 610-14 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Clerk to submit the standard workday and reporting resolution for 2024 as required by the State of New York Comptroller in accordance with the New York State Retirement System requirements.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
All right, will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye, motion carried.
Resolution 610-15 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve the change order number 1 for the Beck Park Basketball Court Project.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye, motion carried.
Resolution 610-16 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor to execute an agreement, Nuck Pro Tunk, between Hyde Park Little League and the Town of Hyde Park to provide youth baseball and softball program for the residents of Town of Hyde Park as part of the town's recreation program for the year 2024.
May I have a second, please?
Second?
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye, motion carried.
Resolution 610-17 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor to execute an agreement Nunc Pro Tunc between the Hyde Park President's Youth Football and Cheerleading Program and the Town of Hyde Park to run an American Youth Football Conference and Cheerleading Program as part of the town's recreation program for the year 2024.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye, motion carried.
Resolution 610-18 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor to execute an agreement, Nunc Pro Tunc, between Hyde Park Soccer, Inc. and the Town of Hyde Park to provide a youth soccer program for the residents of the Town of Hyde Park as part of the town's recreation program for the year 2024.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
All right, will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye, motion carried.
Resolution 610-19 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to amend Resolution 311-7 of 2024, establishing the 2024 seasonal employee wage rates for the Town of Hyde Park recreational employees to reflect the rate change for the health director.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski. And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye, motion carried.
Resolution 610-20 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor to execute the renewal lease agreement with the Reformed Dutch Church of Hyde Park for the Town of Hyde Park Recreation Senior Center for 6 months, beginning on May 1st, 2024, ending on October 31st, 2024.
Yes, may I have a second on that?
Second?
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Persikowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye, motion carried.
Resolution 610-21 of 2024, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to accept donations from Rhinebeck Bank and the Hyde Park Lions Club for the Town of Hyde Park Recreation Department's 2024 Music in the Park Series.
Yay. Okay, may I have a second, please?
Second.
All right, will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilman Prine.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prusakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torgiani.
Aye, motion carried. Do we have any new or old business?
I've got a few.
Lynn, you got something? Come on up.
Oh, no.
Who's going to be your designated driver, Lynn?
Oh, it's something nice?
It's very nice.
Okay.
I actually want to invite you all personally and the public to come to our event on the 21st, for which we need the wine license. We're having a dedication ceremony for our back room that we renovated 2 years ago with no increase in taxes, and we're going to name it the Golden Room, because both Gloria and John Golden left us quite a bit of money in their wills. So to thank them, as they've been so good to the whole town, you know, nicely known as Mr. and Mrs. Hyde Park, we're going to rename our room, well, name it, we don't have a name now, for them. It's going to be the Golden Room. So their daughter, of course, will be there, and it'll be from 6 to 8 on Friday, the 21st, and I hope you can come and join us, because it should be a really nice event. We're going to have live music, wine, and cheese.
Very nice.
Excellent, thank you, Lynn.
Thank you.
You want to give us any updates on how your fundraisings are going?
Well, since you ask. Our most recent one was Saturday night, and it was held at the Inn at Belfield. We have a really nice partnership developed with them. They've helped us for our event, and we hosted a group of people that hadn't come out before for us, so we're very happy for the number that came. Thank you, Mark, you came. But people I never met, so that was really terrific. So that was successful, and Belfield wants to do more for us, which is very nice. We have more coming. Keep watching our website, because we still have more work to do, but we're getting closer and closer, I'm hoping, to a groundbreaking. I still have a dream that it's going to happen. It will happen. I'm convinced of that. So yes, so we're doing well. We have through that event on Saturday night, I have some more partners that want to work with me. So keep your eye on our website, and we can keep the town entertained. We have a very busy summer ahead, but we have all good stuff, hopefully. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you. I'd like to give a shout to Inn at Belfield, because they've been more than gracious in participating and backing every item Lynn brings to them, I know that. But they've been a community backbone, helping every little part of the community. I really love the way they do it. Thank you. Hey, anything else?
Yeah, I got some. The audit committee is still looking for members, so if you or anyone you know are interested in joining, please contact me. Basketball courts in Stassburg will be replaced by the fall, or repaired by the fall. Fencing around the basketball court at Dinsmore and Hackett Hill will start going up in about 3 weeks, so look forward to that. And then finally, we got data from the traffic trailer that was up in Statsburg. About 40% of the cars were traveling on Old Post Road for speeding, so please slow down. Apart from enforcement, we will be looking into methods to help mitigate the speeding, not only in Statsburg, but all over town. So you'll see that traffic trailer up in more places than not.
Thank you, Mark. Anything else?
Liz?
All right, let me fire it down through my checklist here. Starting out with Beck Road Park. The Beck Road Park, the playground is almost 100% complete. The playground equipment is installed. The basketball courts are installed. They look phenomenal. The park came out great. I know that guys were supposed to go there the other day and stripe the court. And then the town is coming in within the next week or so, and they are going to basically install a new parking lot that you basically pull in off of Dorsey, or at the corner of Dorsey and Beck, and you pull in a safe, secure parking area instead of parking parallel to Dorsey Lane or on Beck and worrying about getting clipped when you're getting out of your car. So with this new parking lot and a new playground, that whole area looks phenomenal. And that is no cost to the taxpayers whatsoever. That is a full county grant of $167,500, and the last resolution that we just approved was for some miscellaneous work to be done, and that came out of the Hyde Park Rec Commission Fund. So that whole brand-new park cost the taxpayers of Hyde Park $0. So we're very proud of that. Another thing in the works is we just got the Roosevelt Fire District property behind Roosevelt's, on Roosevelt Road and Bill Reynolds Boulevard. The contracts came back over, and the supervisor really supported that purchase of that land, which the documents were signed, and that piece of parcel would be turned over to the town of Hyde Park for $1, and we have visions of probably putting a little pavilion or doing some pickleball courts in that park area, which we're out researching grants right now to try to make that happen. As Mark said, the radar traffic instrument is going to be displayed all over town. We've been having a lot of complaints in the Haviland Road area, Dorsey Lane area, you name it, up on South Quaker and Don's Ward. A lot of people, excessive speeding, schools getting ready to be let out. There's going to be a lot of kids playing and bicycling.
Big Meadow.
And Big Meadows, we've been getting a lot of calls, so the chief is going to start putting that radar enforcement trailer around, and as we start getting the results, wherever we see that looks like somebody's a little heavy on the gas, you're going to start seeing some police officers plopped in specific locations to try to slow the traffic down. Let's see. Oh, for Hyde Park Assisted Living, we didn't forget about you. Pete Sotero, he's been persistent. He had a phone call with Bob Baxter a couple of weeks ago. Bob Baxter was willing to put up the $5,000 deposit check for the escrow fees and the money for the DOT permit, and Bob Baxter also agreed to do the sidewalk improvements on both sides, on the east and west side of 9G, so that the people from the Hyde Park Assisted Living can walk across the road safely. And we're doing that in conjunction with the DOT. The DOT is going to put the crosswalk and, like we talked about, push button and LED lights. So we didn't forget about it. That is in the works with the DOT, and hopefully it's going to be coming soon. As far as the Hyde Park Recreation, if anybody noticed, the Hyde Park Rob, the recreation director, has been out. We've been putting new fresh mulch in all the playgrounds, and it's been needed for the last couple of years, and we didn't do it. And we just got a big fresh batch of mulch, and over on Cream Street, Doty, Hackett Hill, all the parks are getting fresh mulch put down and cleaned up. So our parks are looking phenomenal. In regards to Hackett Hill, like Mark said, we're getting a fence put around the actual playground at Hackett Hill, and we've been having meetings with the Tegmeyer Memorial to see if they can help us out with replacing some of the old post and rail fencing that's coming in. It's pretty dilapidated, and they're going to have a meeting about helping us out to change that fence out and repaint it with new fence to freshen that up. And once we get that fencing done, our next plan with the supervisor was, as we talked about a while back, was to bring some landscape rocks in and put some nice landscape rocks in the front of Hackett Hill, and then possibly some trees to provide some shading. So the parks are coming along very well. In regards to the resilience grant for the Roosevelt Road area in my ward, the $200,000 grant, Richard Maddox and Pete Sotero gave the resilience grant writer all the information and documentation that we have for the flooding, all the information and data that we had for rainfall. That was all submitted, so that's going to get in the works. So you're going to...
I signed that.
Yeah, you sign, the supervisor signed that to move forward, so in the very near future, people are gonna see people out in Roosevelt Road, Haviland Road, all through the wetlands area, people walking and getting data and getting that underway, so that's a good sign. The supervisor came up with another good one. We found the possibility of a grant to take care of some improvements to our pool at Hackett Hill. As everybody knows, the pool is in desperate need of new concrete slabs around it. Our filtration system has been broken on its last leg, and we've been patching everything as we've gone along. The tile on the edges of the pools are all falling off, and the Board of Health that came around and did the inspection this year kind of hinted to us, saying, hey, listen,
That's it, you're done.
you need some upgrades. So we did reach out to Millennium Strategies, and Millennium has a grant that's out to do pools and these specific, to fit this specific need. So as soon as we knew that there was a grant coming up, the supervisor brought in the rec commission and basically said to them, listen, if you guys want to do this, it's an 80-20 match. So the grants that would come would be 80% paid by the state or the government and 20% from the rec commission or the taxpayers. So the rec commission agreed to give out of their $410,000 that they have in their reserve fund, up to $200,000, which basically means that we can get up to $1 million capital improvements done on our pool at Hackett Hill. And that's the pool, the slabs, the filtration system, our bathrooms, everything in that general area of the pool, which would be phenomenal. So that was a good find as far as we're concerned. The other thing I like to do is I like to give a shout out to our good friend Donnie Veith. He's feeling a little better, but if everybody took note, like we said at the Heroes, or at the memorial site, Donnie had 2 bucket trucks running up to 9G on Saturday and Friday, all day, with 2 men per truck, installing them hometown heroes. We thank Donnie Veith for all his hard work. I mean, them guys were out there all day, 8 hours per day, to hang them banners. So on 9G and in Statsburg, like Mark said at the last meeting, everything's coming together good. So we're very proud, and we thank Donnie Veith for all his support. That's all I got. Thank you.
Wow. Well, it about sums it up. I don't have anything extra from Ward 4.
Okay, we good? Yeah, motion to adjourn?
Make a motion?
All right, second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Adjourn. I didn't want Lynn to hear